Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has been hit with a slew of bad news this week. A federal judge on Wednesday rejected Bragg's request to block a former prosecutor in his office from testifying before the House Judiciary Committee about the criminal case against former President Donald Trump. The committee and its chairman, Representative Jim Jordan, Republican Ohio, had subpoenaed ex-assistant district attorney Mark Pomerantz to give testimony about the DA's investigation into Trump, 76, that culminated in the former president's indictment in March. Bragg filed suit against Jordan and the Judiciary Committee, claiming the subpoena was an overreach by the GOP-led House and an attempt to influence a state criminal proceeding, the New York Post reported. But Judge Mary K. Escochiel found the subpoena was issued with a valid legislative purpose and that it was not the federal judiciary's role to dictate how Congress operates. Mr. Pomerantz must appear for the congressional deposition. No one is above the law, Judge Escochiel wrote in an opinion issued after a Manhattan federal court hearing. Judge Escochiel also hit back at Bragg's attorney Theodore Boutrous during the hearing, at one point declaring, "There's politics going on here on both sides. Let's be honest about that." Earlier this month, a Manhattan grand jury indicted Trump on 34 criminal charges of falsifying business records related to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Trump sent a payment to Daniels ahead of the 2016 election, allegedly to keep Daniels quiet about an affair the two of them had in 2006. Trump pleaded not guilty to all 34 charges. Since the indictment, several legal experts have argued they believe that Bragg's case is exceptionally weak. The question to ask yourself in a case like this is, would a case like this be brought against anybody else, whether he or she be president, former president, or a regular citizen? The answer is, no, former Whitewater Deputy Counsel Sol Wissenberg said. You can debate all day long whether or not Trump should be indicted related to the records at Mar-a-Lago, whether or not he should be indicted with respect to January 6 incitement of lawless activity. Those are real crimes if they occurred, and he committed them, he said. This is preposterous. However, Bragg's case against Trump is so weak that several liberal outlets are even pointing it out. Ian Millhiser, a senior correspondent at Vox, wrote, "There is something painfully anticlimactic about Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's indictment of former President Trump. It concerns not Trump's efforts to overthrow the duly elected government of the United States, but his alleged effort to cover up a possible extramarital affair with a porn star. And there's a very real risk that this indictment will end in an even bigger anticlimax. It is unclear that the felony statute that Trump is accused of violating actually applies to him." Mark Stern, a writer for the liberal outlet Slate, published a story titled, "The Trump Indictment is Not the Slam-Dunk Case Democrats Wanted." John Bolton, who served as a national security advisor in the Trump administration and has since come out against Donald Trump's 2024 campaign, appeared on CNN and blasted the charges filed against his ex-boss, former President Trump, saying the indictment was even weaker than I feared it would be. Speaking as someone who very strongly does not want Donald Trump to get the Republican presidential nomination, I'm extraordinarily distressed by this document, Bolton said on CNN. I think this is even weaker than I feared it would be. Notorious anti-Trump GOP Senator Mitt Romney issued a statement saying, I believe President Trump's character and conduct make him unfit for office. Even so, I believe the New York prosecutor has stretched to reach felony criminal charges in order to fit a political agenda. No one is above the law, not even former presidents, but everyone is entitled to equal treatment under the law. The prosecutor's overreach sets a dangerous precedent for criminalizing political opponents and damages the public's faith in our justice system. George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley said in an interview with Fox News that the case is outrageous. Bragg is attempting to bootstrap a federal crime into a state case. And if that is the basis for the indictment, I think it's rather outrageous, the professor said. I think it's illegally pathetic, he said. There's a good reason why the Department of Justice did not prosecute this case, because it's been down this road before. It tried a case against former Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards, arguing that hush money paid to another woman, who bore a child out of that relationship, was a campaign violation. That was a much stronger case, but they lost, Turley said. Bragg's betting on a motivated judge and a motivated juror. You couldn't pick a better jurisdiction. But, under Bragg's theory, he can take any unproven federal crime, revive a long-dead misdemeanor, and turn it into a felony. That's going to raise concerns for a number of judges. But once it gets to the appellate level, he's going to have a particularly difficult time, he said.